Let me teach you a quick secret. Every person that dies goes into a dimension that cannot be seen with eyes. Every person that dies is available to us as working prophets when we begin to understand intuition. Every deceased person that has passed, you as a working prophet have access to. So you say, no, Master Prophet, no, this is not biblical. Well, let me prove it to you. Let me prove it to you from the Bible. The Bible says that King Saul was in trouble. The armies were coming against his land, killing everything. So he went to consult the witch, was the witch of Endor. Now, who did he conjure up to prophesy to him what the future will hold? He conjured up the deceased person called the prophet Samuel. And when the prophet Samuel came up, the first thing he asked him, why did you wake me from my sleep? Now, how is it possible that King Saul, using a witch, conjured up a dead spirit called the prophet of Saul, and the first thing he told him, why did you awaken me? That tells me as a working prophet that every deceased person that ever walked the earth, we have access to if we operate in that dimension. Did you get that? You have access to every billionaire that ever walked this earth. You have access to every medical person that ever walked this earth. You have access to every genius, every invention, every person that created anything in any period of time. You have access to them. And I want to make it very clear, if you understand that your role as a prophet is to help, heal, and deliver God's people, then you can communicate with all of these deceased people that have died maybe decades ago to get the answers that you desire. So let me give an example of what I mean. Let's say I am a scientist and I want to learn something about the inner workings of space. I want to learn some of the deeper philosophies about mankind. The first person I will communicate is with Einstein. I will conjure up his spirit to communicate with him so that he can give me a guiding point on exactly what he learned when he walked this earth. And I'm explaining to you, this is what the future holds. If you want to become an intuitive prophet, you should be getting connected with specialists that have died in the cancer field so that you can awaken them from their sleep, so that you can counsel your client that has cancer that stands right before you. If you are an intuitive prophet, you should begin to call on inventors of the past to give guidance, to give instructions of the businessman that has just made a $1,000 offering and wants to know if he needs to move in a certain direction. You can wake these spirits that have passed, that are geniuses in fields, so that you can counsel your client and give them good advice. I want to make this as clear as possible. Anytime a client comes to me at that $3,000 level, the $5,000 level, I always tell them to give me several days while I awaken a deceased person from the past to give me the confidence to be able to instruct them and give them what they need for the future. When a person gives me, for example, I had this medical doctor that came to me and said, Master Prophet, you know, I'm getting ready to go to Africa and I'm getting ready to make these moves and I want to make sure that I'm going to have success. So I did a prophecy at a $75 donation. This medical doctor didn't know who I was. He didn't know my ability. So when he made a $75 donation, I revealed some secrets. And then I told him to make a $500 donation because I was going to reveal certain deeper secrets. He made the $500 donation. I began to reveal to him that him and his business partner were contemplating going to Africa, and they were going to do some testing with the African people over there, and they want to disguise it. And then when I revealed that information, he was so amazed. Then he asked me immediately, what will the outcome come? And I said, well, I need you to make a $2,500 donation. When he made that $2,500 donation, I gave him the blueprint. I told him that he was going to go to Africa. He was going to say that he was a sponsor from the United States, helping people with this disease so that he can give them this medication that he was going to test. Then he was going to take all the results of 6 months to a year of testing all of those people with that medication back to the United States. He was going to sell it to the pharmaceutical people and make millions of dollars. I made $75 from that medical doctor. I made $500 from that medical doctor, and then I made $2,500 from the medical doctor. And when he heard the full prophecy, he was so amazed that he gave me several thousands of dollars later as a thank you for that intuitive prophecy I gave him. Now, where did I get that prophecy from? I got that prophecy from his deceased family member that was into voodoo. You see, his family member, what made this medical doctor so famous was his family member, his grandpa, was a voodoo man. And his grandpa used to practice voodoo many decades before him. And he would take these herbs and he would heal people of diseases and sicknesses. So when the medical doctor began to grow up, he saw that his family members had this ability to heal people. So he decided to go to medical school and legitimize his ability while he understood that this was part of his pathway. When this man of God heard my prophecy, not only did I make all that money, but I was able to make a friend with a person that to this day constantly sees me every several years. And I want to make it very clear. If you're a working prophet and you're intuitive, you can conjure up any deceased person in any period of time to get inventions, to get songs, to get books, to get healing in any dimension to help the client that's in front of you. And I want to make it very clear. When people come to me, and I use this in my every single day prophecy business, people will come to me and says, Master Prophet, I'm having a legal problem. I said, no problem. Master Prophet, I'm having a medical problem. No problem. Make your donation. Master Prophet, I'm having a problem in my relationship. I say, no problem. Make the donation. The reason why I'm so confident that I can help bring clarity to the situation they're facing is because all I have to do is awaken a deceased person that's an expert in that field, and I will be an expert in minutes. Do you not understand that if I were to awaken Albert Einstein and I would ask him for the theory of relativity and spend several days and weeks listening to his voice as he explains it to me, if I take the information that he gives it to me and I do a seminar, I will be considered a person that operates in that dimension because of the wisdom I was given by this deceased spirit. That's going to be the same information if I get it from a medical doctor, if I get it from a lawyer that has passed. No matter what field, the information they provide will be the answers for the client is facing.